Okay, so hello to everyone. Thanks for joining today to this webinar series. This is our first webinar of this 2020. Wow, it's been raining too much since when we started the first webinar back in 2010. So it's been already 10 years promoting the energy efficiency around the globe. And today I have with me our colleague, our VP of Utilities. I have with me Miguel Cruz. Miguel, can you say something?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So it's a great honor being here with you, Danny, today, participating in the first webinar of the year.
Of
Great year
2020,
for,
yeah.
exactly, great year for us, for sure, and for our customers and the utility companies willing to collaborate with us.
And for the energy efficiency. So we've been working really hard in the last 5 years with the Horizons 2020. Now we are in the 2020, right? So we have to prepare the Horizon 2030 maybe, right?
Yes, especially not only from the R&D side, but also from the product and go-to-market. So this is a real good year for us.
So, well, a bit of our agenda of today. We will start with some climate change challenges that are appearing. Then we will switch to DEXMA and why DEXMA, we believe that it's a unique platform. Then, of course, we would talk about a lot today about XMen Detect. This is the product that we have created to help utilities into their digitalization process and how to help their users to reduce their energy consumption and to get benefit from that. And then, of course, this is an open webinar, right? So this is not a record. So you can ask anything that you would like to understand, to know, that we would maybe have to clarify. So please use the GoToWebinar questions box to type your question, and then in the Q&A part, we will try to address all of them. Of course, the ones that we can't address today, we will always answer them by email, right? So please, if you have any question, please tell us. Okay, so Miguel, you would like to explain me and to the audience a bit about these climate challenges, right?
Yes. So the first thing I want to do is ask you a question, Danny. So what do you see here?
Well, I see like 150 stripes, but I don't know what's the meaning of all of them.
Okay, well, so here what we are seeing is the global temperature change since more or less 1850 till last year. So the dark blue lines are, let's say, cooler than the average between 1970 and year 2000.
Okay.
And the dark red are warmer. So we can see how after the year 2000 and especially 2013, 2015, we can see that the globe in average is warmer around 1 degree. So maybe from one year to the next, you can feel the difference. But when you see decades, when you see pictures like that, you see that the situation is clear and cannot be said that it's not a real thing. So this is impacting not only the energy efficiency enthusiasts like us, but is also impacting energy and utility companies. So this message of climate change is also starting to be considered in the markets. And we can see examples like RWE, one of the more carbon intensive companies of the last century, going carbon neutral by year 2040. And we see many other utilities with similar strategies and oil companies. And after working almost 10 years in DEXMA, Daniel, how do you feel seeing this change happening?
I can tell that I couldn't even imagine in the best of my dreams having a situation like that. So back in 2010 when we started to pitch to people about the energy efficiency, there were the few pioneers that they were like getting the message and starting to work in that. Nowadays, I think the situation has totally changed. So we are on a trend where sustainability, I think it's one of the, let's say, one of the biggest problems of the humanity, talking very, very clear. And we are here just to help, right?
Yeah. And just to help utilities, but at the end of the day, helping people, right?
Exactly.
Because it's not only energy companies that are being affected by the market trends and are changing their strategies, but also the people, the customer is changing. You can only see Fridays for climate and
Hmm.
overall the youth asking politics to take action.
Yeah.
And this is great. This is great because at least in my case, for the first time when I'm with friends, when I'm with my family, we can talk about that, and people is
Yeah.
aware about that, and we
This is a
are,
great change, right?
yeah,
So when people is asking you, what are you working on? And we were telling people, well, we are focused on the energy efficiency field. Now people starts to ask many questions. How do you do that? To which companies do you help? So
yeah,
this is something that has changed, and people has a lot to see here and to say. Actually, the European Union declared the climate emergency a
yeah.
few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, yeah, and has passed a budget of around 1 trillion euros to
Hmm,
address this challenge and invested in infrastructure, in R&D, many things in order to face the climate change. That's true.
exactly.
So, in for this year, and especially after COP25, we
Hmm.
see mainly three challenges. The first one is the one that we've been discussing since the beginning of the webinar. So the need to boost energy transition adoption
Hmm.
because business model reason, because the markets are asking for that and are asking companies to become sustainable, to be EBITDA positive for the next 50 years also,
Hmm.
and also because the customer, the people, is asking for that.
Hmm.
So one of the main challenges we see for utilities is boosting this energy transition, but there are also other drivers, let's say more economic drivers, like
Yeah, economic
uh,
based, exactly.
yeah, like the decreasing energy retail margins, of course, because of the higher competition, because of liberalization of many retail activities in Europe and other countries, and also because of the digitalization challenge, because
Yeah,
if you want to offer energy transition services and products and you want to differentiate yourself, you have to start to take advantage of the thousands of data sources that you have and the information you have from your customers in order to help you to be more efficient in this transition to becoming more sustainable. And of course, when you want to recommend an improvement to your customer, the classical approach of going there and doing an on-site traditional
yeah,
audit, of course, is a very efficient way and very precise, but is not scalable when you want to
exactly.
provide this information to thousands of your customers, right?
Well, let's say that one of the main challenges that we hear from the utilities is how to democratize this, right? So how do we scale to thousands and thousands of SMEs in
Exactly.
order to help them to reduce their energy expenditure, and of course offering professional services or energy efficiency based services, right?
Exactly.
So yeah,
So yeah, well, our mission, as a summary for those that is the first time that you heard about Dexma, is to help people and organization to understand and optimize their energy usage, because we believe that the future of energy is digital, and we are building it one building at a time, right?
exactly. So one by one, doing it
Yes.
exactly. So
Good.
yeah,
So yeah, so you are going now to explain a little bit about our platform and how can we help utilities to reach these goals, right?
exactly. So we have built a platform that we say that it's unique. Of course, we have several points to address in order to help the day-to-day of the utilities. We have been working with utilities for many years so far, so we are very engaged with them, and we believe that we understand the problems that they have. So probably some of the utilities that are into our audience today, they will have they will be reflected here today, right? So well, Dexma basically has an offer that it's, let's say we have three different modules. Okay, the first module is the detect, the next one is the analyze, and the third one is control. And why do we have three modules? Well, because we believe that the energy efficiency journey in a customer should have 3 steps, right? First step is where you detect if that customer has savings potential or not. So you do a savings evaluation and recommendations without relying in on-site traditional audits. So we do it differently. We do it thanks to artificial intelligence and big data, because we have thousands and thousands of buildings already monitored for many, many years. So we can get that value from that data and then using it to extrapolate and to use it for new customers. Then, of course, if that customer has savings potential and it's a good candidate, then you go to the second step, which is analyze, right? Is where you have the IoT devices, IoT sensors, you get data in real time, and you can then start fixing problems. And most important of all, it's verifying the savings, right? So if you invest but you don't verify savings, it's like you're not doing nothing. And then the third one would be controlling, right? So not just monitoring what's going on, what's going wrong, but once the system detects that something maybe has a fail here, you can actually control remotely, right? So it's a 3 steps product because the energy efficiency journey has those 3 steps. And maybe we could go a bit further in each of those, right? So which are the questions that each of the products are solving? So for instance, for Detect, for the first step, answers the question of where should I invest? So imagine that you are a utility, that you have thousands of SMEs that you want to address into your energy efficiency programs, but you don't know exactly where to go, right? So which would be the customers that could probably be more engaged with that program? The traditional way has been trying to address them using traditional marketing campaigns, omni-channel marketing campaigns maybe. But with XMen Detect, as you can detect which are the ones that really have energy efficiency savings potential and which recommendations we could offer to all of them, we could create narrow targeted marketing campaigns. And then the discussion totally changes, and the closing rate changes, and the conversion rates climb very, very, very high, right? Then you have virtual disaggregation as well. So we apply technology called NILM that actually asks where the people is consuming more energy. Is a building consuming the most of its energy in the HVAC system or in the lighting system? Because then from these insights, then we will recommend one retrofit or another one. And all of this is done without even putting a foot into the building, right? So this is done remotely. This is done virtually. So the capex and the opex are really, really low. So it has almost no friction. Okay. Then second step is analyze, right? So we have the customer with good potential, but we want to go in detail. We're going to go in deep. We want to monitor what's going on, what's wrong, when it's wrong, how am I consuming on the weekends and on holidays or in the bank holidays. So what's going on there, right? So you need real-time data. And then it's the analyze part of the product that solves this. Then, of course, analyze and verify. So why did this happen, right? So try to detect or try to understand what's going on behind, and verify how much energy are you saving, how much money am I saving thanks to this retrofit that the energy utility proposed to me. And then people, right? So we are seeing that people has the power to change things. So share your results, share your data, share your trends with your team, right? So create different users, have them on board into the platform, and save as a team. And then the last step would be control, right? So rather than just monitoring and seeing what's going wrong, just act on that, right? So switch on, switch off the HVAC, schedule specific, let's say, consumptions for specific days or times of the day, and then the multi-site integrated control. So not just doing it one by one, but if you have, as a utility, you have a customer that you know that it has, let's say, 100 retail stores, so propose a multi-site integrated control to facilitate their operations, okay? But XMen, it's not only those 3 steps, right? There is 3 more things that we believe that are differentiators from other platforms that you may find in the market. The first one would be data sources. So we are truly hardware agnostic. We have been hardware agnostic since the day 0 of the company. So far, we have around 500 plus native integrations to get your data on. We do lots of data lakes integrations for utilities, right? So if you have built your own IoT platform, this is perfect because then we do the integration with your data lake or your big data system, and we can push the data to Dexma and then get the value of that data, right? And then IoT is the future, is the present, but the future as well. And we have already been integrating and using hardware that uses Sigfox, LoRa, MQTT protocols to get data at a very, very cheap price, right? And then the API and the apps market. The API, I think it's a very interesting product for a utility that it's looking for a platform such as the EMS, the Energy Management System, because an API, it's like an open door, right? And you can create your own applications based on the API. API, it's a way in how to extract data from Dexma to any other system, to your own platforms, to third-party platforms, so you can create new integrations. You can use the Dexma results to put it back into your CRM, for instance, and then create another campaign from there. So the API, it's a product of Dexma's platform. And we have a very high performance API because other software developers are already developing software. Actually have 33 apps available for everyone to solve other problems that are not solved into the core platform of Dexma. And you can create your own roadmap as well, right? So if you are a utility, Dexma fits 95% of your desires, of your wishes, but then you want to develop the latest 5%, you don't have to rely on Dexma's resources or wait until the Dexma's roadmap is free to add your feature there. But you can create your own roadmap based on your own resources, on your own internal teams, right? So this is really important, the API and the apps market. And then I think the last one is that everyone in the market is talking about AI, right? But I think that it's important to show how really artificial intelligence can be applied into the energy field and which problems it can solve, right? So I have just note here 3 different problems. The first one is when we are talking on the detect step, we do have to create benchmarkings and clusterings, right? So we actually use our database of more than 80,000 buildings to compare with the new buildings that are arriving from the utilities. And this is a problem. This is a mathematical problem of 36 dimensions because of the way in how we use the activity, heating, cooling degree days, surface, and so on. So we have a very big problem there that we have been solving that using artificial intelligence models to reduce these 36 variables to 3 variables. So then you have a cloud of dots, as you can see into that image here. And then the system, once you give me the 100 buildings that are closest to a specific building, it paints you the ones that are more closer, and then you can create a good cluster for that, okay? This is just one of the examples. Then we have another problem that we solve with artificial intelligence, which is the virtual disaggregation, right? If you want to produce recommendations, you need to understand how a particular building is consuming, how much is being consuming in HVAC, how much is being consuming in lighting, and so on. And there's a way how we can do that thanks to the already existing buildings that we have with submetering, and it's applying non-intrusive load monitoring techniques on that, right? And this is again thanks to artificial intelligence. And then the last one that we are already in beta step, and we plan to launch this by May this year, is the automatic anomaly detection, right? So we have found that there is a paradox. The more data you have, so utilities, the more data you have, the less you analyze that. And it's because you cannot just hire more and more engineers, human people, to go behind this data and analyze the patterns and detect what's going wrong, right? You need to have a machine to do that, or at least a machine that could potentially tell the energy manager, say, this seems to be wrong, just have a look at that, okay? And this is what we are doing with the automatic anomaly detection. We are building a system that really learns from your existing consumption, normalizes your consumption with external conditions such as weather, heating degree days, cooling degree days, and detects anomalies, right? So tells you when something potentially is going to be wrong. And this is again thanks to AI, thanks to the artificial intelligence. So we have thought at Dexma that we are not doing energy management anymore, right? Because this is something different. This is something that uses a lot of data, uses a lot of artificial intelligence. So we believe that the energy management at Dexma becomes energy intelligence. And this is why we have created the new branding of Dexma last year, removing energy management and moving it, switching it to energy intelligence, okay? Because we are doing here something a bit different. Miguel.
Hey.
Now it's your time. Of course, guys,
Good.
if you have any questions regarding what we have explained about Dexma's platform, please put it into the boxes. Now, Miguel, I think that you would like to explain to the audience a bit more about Dexma Detect, right?
Yes, but before that, I want to thank you for the good summary you've made about our key differentiators. This is a question that we receive quite oftenly from potential customers, from existing customers. Why Dexma is different? And I think you explained it very well. We have a very clear customer journey: detect, analyze, control. So with a single platform, you can help your customer to detect potential savings, verify them, analyze them, and also actuate and control in order to reduce them. And also the three pillars that you mentioned before, so the hardware and software integration. I think we are unique in this regard. It's been one of the reasons why we are here today, because we are compatible with hundreds of devices, and if new devices are needed to be integrated, we can do it, and we do it very efficiently. This is a key differentiator comparing to other vendors like are working only with some specific hardware. In our case, this is one advantage. And also the high performance API to create your own roadmap, and of course the artificial intelligence. So thanks, Danny, for the good summary. And as said, now I'm going to explain how Dexma Detect can be used by utilities. So trying to summarize again the challenges that we see for the utility market in these years. So first, the slow energy transition adoption. So the difficulty to promote new products and services that are needed to change your business model, because selling only kilowatt hour, selling only energy is just a commodity in a very competitive environment. This is not enough, and on top of that, your customers are asking you for a different way to be provided with energy, with more sustainable means, with more local means, with self-consumption, and so on. The second pillar is the decreasing energy retail margins because of competition. Of course, as more companies are in the market, you need to differentiate more to provide more value and demonstrate the customer that is worth to pay more for your energy. And on top of that, it's not enough selling only energy. You have to sell also other services, because if utilities that are very well positioned in front of the customer to offer energy services do not take advantage of this new situation of photovoltaics, of electric vehicles, of electrification of many of the consumptions, there will be other service companies that will take advantage of that. So I think that utilities may take the good position they have in order to take advantage of this transition. And the third challenge is, okay, as a utility, I know that I have to sell new products and services to my customers, but I cannot visit them one by one, especially when we are talking about SMEs, or well, small shops, retail shops, supermarkets, because okay, the consumption is not small as a residential, but it's not as big as an industry, and maybe it's not worth to send someone there to do an on-site energy audit and say, okay, you need a photovoltaic system, you need an electric vehicle charger, you are eligible for demand response. No, you need something cheaper, you need something massive. And that's why we created Dexma Detect, right, Danny? So with Dexma Detect, basically what we can provide is information about which customers have the biggest upgrade potential. We can compare your customers within the same sector or across different sectors in order to identify which of them have higher saving potential comparing to similar buildings. And thanks to non-intrusive load monitoring, which is a concept that I'm going to explain later on, we can tell them where they are overconsuming. If they are overconsuming in lighting, in HVAC, or in standby consumption, and using as an input this 2K information, so the benchmarking and the load disaggregation, we can offer each customer specific retrofits that will help them to have a better energy efficiency profile and become more sustainable. So how do we do that? We do that in a no friction way. So what does it mean? That we don't have to install any hardware in the customer and we don't have to visit the customer. We go no capex because we are taking advantage of our existing database in order to make use of your existing customer information in your CRM, in your smart metering database in order to provide an energy audit. So how does it work? Well, we've been for the last 10 years collecting real-time information from buildings, not only from the fiscal meter, but also sub-metering consumption. We have around 80,000, well, now it's more 100,000 CNI buildings in our database. And taking advantage of this information, we can use artificial intelligence in order to use only information from the main fiscal meter and improve this information with other metadata that we may have from this building, like the sector, the year of construction, the methodological information, in order to create a virtual energy audit. Of course, it will not be as precise as the submetering installation, right, hardware installation, and so on, but we can have a very good approach, very good first estimation of the savings potential of the customer in order to identify which customers we should start working with when dealing with energy efficiency. So as a summary, we are taking physical metering information and other building metadata like the activity, if it's a supermarket or a retail shop, the location in order to retrieve weather information like degree days, humidity, and so on, in order to provide three main values. So a benchmarking, a comparison of your customer with similar customer, load disaggregation estimation, how much they are consuming in lighting, in heating, and cooling, and potential retrofits, always without the need to install anything. So how does it work? As for the benchmarking or the comparison of buildings, imagine that you have an office building in London and you have historical fiscal metering information, and the first thing we do is to normalize this information so that we can take our unique database composed of more than 80,000 buildings and 26 sectors and identify similar buildings in our database so that we can provide your customer a comparison of their energy behavior against the best and the worst of their sector. And secondly, we can provide non-intrusive load monitoring. So what does it mean? Taking advantage of our existing database with individual submetering in place, including heating, cooling, lighting, equipment, energy consumption information that is providing us disaggregated power information, we can implement non-intrusive load monitoring. So only by using the information from the fiscal meter, we can approximate the breakdown of the energy consumption of your customers without the need to install any hardware there so that you can implement it massively. So, well, a picture or in this case, a demo speaks 1,000 words, right, Danny? So better if we show how it works.
Sure. So let's move from the PowerPoint to the reality, right? So let's click, for instance, some of you that you have connected to the audience, you already know Dexma's platform. For the ones that you are new, basically Dexma is a platform that is divided by each of the steps. So in that case, in that demo account, we have enabled detect and analyze, and then with means control. Then we have the recommendations catalog, which is the part where you can configure as a utility your own recommendations, or we can together work into create an e-ones, right? And this is a very important part of setting detect for your project, right? So which recommendations would you like to promote to the market, right? Then you have the apps market full of applications, and then you have the settings of the account, so you are fully autonomous to create, to build, and to give up new buildings, new customers, and so on. So let's move now to the tech. What we are going to see here is it's an account of around 100 and something buildings. Of course, this is just a demo, and this is intended to scale up to thousands of several tens of thousands of buildings at the same time. Because once we got the data, then we can work with the detect features in order to create the marketing campaigns, right? So in that case, we have a portfolio of 104 locations that are most of them located in Spain. You can then filter by attributes regarding, for instance, which is the sector that you want to see. If you are uploading offices, retail, supermarkets, you're going to start, let's say, like you can drill down and make specific analysis for all of those sectors. You can, for instance, know if a customer has already photovoltaic or not, so you can propose it. You can load things like the churn risk, right? So you can start by analyzing the ones that you know that already have high churn risk, so would be the ones that you want to save from moving to other utilities. Or you can then filter as well by energy insights, right? So how is this consuming per year, which is the lighting consumption, general consumption, so on. So you can even segment on that case. And then, of course, regarding to the recommendations that you want to use, so you can just filter for which recommendation you wanna run the marketing campaign, let's say, right? This is like in a very general way. In that case, we are analyzing 100 buildings, around 700,000 square meters total surface. That would be around 70 gigawatt hour, around 10 million euros in energy. And the first metrics that XMen Detect is telling us is that, okay, so you have an average efficiency score from 0 to 100 of 58, right? So, well, you have passed, but not at the very good mark. So you have a lot of potential to keep improving your customers. In fact, we have evaluated that savings potential, and it should be close to 22%, okay, on average for each of the buildings. Actually, your customers could be saving around 2 million euros per year with the recommendations that we have been offering here. Okay, so this is like an estimation of the whole portfolio potential. Of course, you can run this analysis by your global portfolio at your utility, or then drilling down customer by customer. So for instance, multi-portfolio customers, you can do specific analysis on them, and then select which are the accounts that you have to talk with the account executives or the account people to promote these recommendations to them, right? Then if we keep going down, XMen Detect shows us two interesting charts. The first one is the top locations, okay? In that case, are sorted by savings. So we have a retail store that seems to be very, very high in consumption. So we have been evaluating them, and we believe that it can have up to 60% energy savings, but we have many of them above 50. Actually, if we go to this chart here, XMen Detect is telling us that we have 27 locations that have an estimated savings between 40 to 60%, so in that range of savings. Okay, so there is 27 out of 104 locations that would be the low-hanging fruit, let's say. Then you have 23 locations in the range of 20 to 40%, and then you have 44 locations in the range of 0 to 20% that I would definitely take them out from the first marketing campaigns. Okay. Then you have the chart here. This is a bubble chart where we are putting here the surface, so how big the building is, the energy, how big that building is consuming energy, how much is consuming energy, and then on the volume is the amount of energy that can the let's say the size of the bubble, it's the amount of energy savings, and then the color, it's the score, right? So lower score, red colors, good scores, green colors, right? So you have to just figure it out on the biggest ones because they would have more savings potential, and the red ones. So those 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, those would be the really good ones to go and tackle onto the first phase of the project, right? So just talking with your account executive of this particular customer, and then start selling energy services to them. Then we have you can run Zooms, so it's a very nice way to work with that. Then of course you have the Pareto distribution, right? So okay, we have 104 customers, 104 buildings, but not all of them consume at the same level, right? In that case, for instance, we have top one, which is consuming 6 gigawatt-hour per year, which is very huge amount of energy, but he has 28% of energy savings only. And the second one, that in a normal audit, you would pick always the top, let's say 20, 30 consumers. It says that only has 14%. So you don't have really to focus onto that one until you haven't fixed the other ones, right? So this is the insights, the kind of insights that XMen Detect gives to you, and you can start making smarter decisions. And then of course the conversion rate from selling energy services would be higher, right? Then I love this table here because you can sort, and now we could sort by score. So those ones would be the buildings that you don't have to touch at all at the first point, right? Because they have scored 100%, so they are one of the best ones that we have ever seen into our database. So cheers for that. And then you have the worst ones, right? So the ones that really score with a very low energy efficiency score, those would be the ones that you have to start working with. Actually, what I really like to do is to sort by monetary savings, let's say, okay, and then drill down and see what happens with that building, for instance, the office building number 4. So you can just click here and you click through, and then you get the details of the virtual audit that we've been performing here into that specific building, right? So now Dexma, it's going to the database and it's uploading the data. Here we have it. Good. Let me switch to satellite, right? So actually, it's one of the buildings located in Madrid, 24,000 square meters building, 5 gigawatt hours of consumption during the last 12 months. You can download the audit in PDF directly. So if you want to share it with your end customer, or you want to share it with your account executive, so he can use it as a pre-sales tool, you can download that, of course, with your branding. So we allow to brand your report and your platform to show your logos and your colors. And in particular, that one has 41 up to 100. So there's huge potential. Actually, it's 29% savings potential, close to 200,000 euros per year with investment. Okay, 200,000 euros per year. So this is an extremely good candidate to go and to proactively, from the utility point of view, promote energy savings programs, right, and energy savings services. Actually, we have here the benchmarking, right? So this is last 12 months consumption comparison against similar buildings. This is where we're applying artificial intelligence in order to cluster you versus the similar ones. Actually, we are giving you 3 colors here. This is your bars. This is your latest 12 months of energy consumption, being the first bar is January, the latest one is December. And of course, we show, well, this is actually your consumption pattern, okay? But we divide the bar in 3 colors, and that's because the first color would be the level at which the best building that we have ever seen that it's similar to you is consuming, okay? So the best one would be at that level. Then the second level, the second blue, it's the average building, right? So if you would be 50 out of 100, you should be consuming at the second level, but you are very far away from that even, right? So you are 41 up to 100, so you are consuming at that level. So all of those, let's say dark blue consumption, it's consumption that you should be reducing very, very quick, right? Because at least being the average one, it shouldn't be hard, okay? So this is the average estimation or the energy estimation that we believe that you could be saving, okay? Then we show you the disaggregated consumption, okay? So we apply the NIL models on that. We get the models from the existing buildings. We apply artificial intelligence. We calculate your output here. And actually, the system is telling me that probably 53% of my total energy consumption is due to the lighting systems. We don't have real submetering here. We're just applying mathematical models that we know from similar buildings that we have already monitored, okay? So 53% potentially in lighting, then you have 16% in cooling, 17% in heating, according to where you located heating and cooling degree days, okay? So where are you located according to the models? This is the projection. And then we have 13% on others that probably would be computers, printers, and other stuff that we cannot virtually disaggregate. But this is enough. This is more than enough, because from here, lighting and HVAC consumption, we can promote recommendations, right? But before we go to the recommendations, we even show to the people, show to the customer, from the last month of data that I have. In that case, I had monthly data, hourly data, but XMen Detect works with monthly data as well. Where are your anomalies? Okay, so this is a pattern. This is your real consumption in let's say in black line. Okay, and in dashed blue we have created a baseline based on artificial intelligence. Okay, so we took your past consumption, we took the heating and cooling degree days of each hour of each day of your last 12 months, and we generate the baseline. Okay, and then we compare the baseline versus your real consumption. And the system is capable to tell you, hey, look at that here. Look at this night. You have been over consuming. And probably here, despite it was very cold because that's December, probably the HVAC machine shouldn't have gone that high, right? Actually, it's far lower than the other similar days here, right? So that's the anomalies. And we are telling people, hey, on 13th of December, you have overexpended 374 euros just in something that you could be potentially saving. Okay, this is the anomaly detection. So now if we go back to the recommendations, we end up with the traditional table of recommendations that the traditional audit ends, right? But without having to expand and to go to the building and to expand the OPEX to generate the audit, sorry, right? So here you have the list of recommendations. Good. So those are the recommendations that XMen Detect has been simulated from the library of recommendations that the utility has decided to introduce into the platform, with all the financial metrics. So which is the lifetime for that. So for instance, this is the lighting total control, okay? As you have 53% in lighting, it makes sense that the first recommendation that we recommend it's about lighting, because there is huge potential there to save energy. It has a lifetime of 10 years. The payback is only 4 years. Annual savings, 124,000 euros, CAPEX, OPEX, ROI, IRR, NPV. And those are financial metrics that we have simulated according to the recommendations, right? So you can start talking with customers really quick about which recommendations to implement, okay? You can even start working with that and talking together with your customer and then preparing a financial investment case, right? So you can start selecting and simulating when it's going to be your return of an investment, how much capex do I have to finance, and so on. So it's a very complete tool for that. And I wouldn't like to finish that without going to the recommendations catalog, because it's like the origin of all of this, right? So once we start working with a utility, there is a period of time where we tune, where we, let's say, configure the recommendations that the utility is most comfortable with working and promoting, right? So the utility selects, you select which are the ones that you want to enable, to disable, which capex do you have according to your business model or to your providers, or how good or bad you procure this from your providers. So we tune all this up before running all the different simulations. So as a recap about XMen Detect, we have been working a lot during last year to improve the artificial intelligence algorithms that go behind the platform. We have already a catalog of 80 different energy efficiency retrofits that you as a utility can benefit from that and then tune and modify. And you can create your own new recommendations, such as solar, power optimization, demand optimization, and so on. You have DEXMA offers the unique database of more than 80,000 buildings to promote the benchmarking. There is a new user interface that we've been creating during the last year. The accuracy that Miguel was talking about before, so far we have around 95% accuracy on the nil disaggregation, which is, of course, it's not 100% precise as if you would be deploying real hardware on the field, but we are not that far from there. And to go quicker and scale, and to scale to your whole portfolio, you can use platforms such as XMen Detect, right? Then you have the automated audit reports. There is no hardware needed. You have the report, and it's a part of the 3 steps module called Detect, Analyze, Control, which is at the end the DEXMA platform. I don't know, Miguel, if I missed something regarding this.
No, I think that you made very good demo and very good summary of the product. Thanks a lot for that, Danny. So the only thing that I want to say before closing the webinar is that if you are a utility and you would like to try XMen Detect, please contact me. We are very happy to explain the product, to work with you in order to see how we can help you, how we can personalize the product in order to help you to differentiate to other utilities. And we are really looking forward to start working with more and more utilities to take advantage of XMen Detect. So thanks a lot, Danny. I don't know if you want to add something else.
Well, just the questions time, right? So I don't know if you guys had, yeah, I see here. Okay. So I see here some questions arriving. So it's 10 to 4. So we can maybe ask a few of them. And then if there are some others arriving, then we will answer them for sure by email. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a question asking about the data lake. Where is the data center? Just asking about the availability of the data lake. Okay. I guess that you are referring to the DEXMA's, let's say, databases. Okay. So we have a partnership with Google. We use the Google Cloud Services, and our currently data centers are located in Europe, in the Belgium zone. Okay. Then Miguel, there is another one asking, and I think that one is for you, regarding the non-intrusive load monitoring accuracy. So how do we evaluate that?
Yes. So basically what we are doing is to take 80% of our database, using it to train our artificial intelligence models, and then keep the 20% of the buildings that we have not used for training the algorithms in order to validate the accuracy when estimating the sub-consumption of the building. So how much lighting consumption, how much heating and cooling consumption for a month and for a year. And from there, we calculate the accuracy. So this is the way that we ensure the quality and accuracy of the models that we are using.
Yeah. Then there's another one asking regarding which is the normal project process when working with a utility.
Yes, so the first thing will be to have a face-to-face meeting in order to
That's
identify
important.
yes, your challenges, to further understand which information that you have from your customers, and from there start co-creating and collaborating in order first to be able to integrate your submit your smart metering information into our platform in order to calculate benchmarking, load disaggregation, recommendations, and so on. And secondly, to customize the recommendations that we are going to convey to send to your customers with regards to lighting, photovoltaics, demand response, taking into consideration your existing product portfolio. So there is a phase of project design, and then
Mhm.
let's say in less than 2 months we can be up and running.
Mhm. There's another one asking that, hey, I already have a mobile app for my utility. Could I push this data from it?
Yes, I mean, I
The
think
answer is
this
yes,
question
right,
is more
Miguel?
for you. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this
well,
question is.
actually, that's
Mhm.
why the API is intended to be for, right? So we have all the data and results calculated on the Dexma servers, and then using the API, you can connect them to your own mobile application, so you can push this to your own existing customers already. So yeah, definitely you can do that. There are other few questions coming, Miguel. I'm counting here more than 10. As we don't have time now, we will contact them directly by email.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed, we'll do that. Yeah.
So again, thanks for your time here today. I hope it was interesting for you and that you have discovered a new way on how to help your customers from the utility side. Again, we are able to answer you anything that you may like. You have our contacts already. So I don't know. See you on the next webinar, maybe.
Yes, see you on the next webinar. Thanks a lot for your attention, and looking forward to hear from your demo requests and start working with you.
Exactly. So see you guys. Bye bye. Thanks.